Hi, this is Sergeant Beast Larson. I'm going to make a two-part series. What police need to know about corrections, what corrections prison COs need to know about police work dealing with people on the outside. A lot of things that happened in 2020, a lot of videos, a lot of discussion, talk, George Floyd, all of this stuff. But there's some key things, they were kind of brought to our attention when I went to the police academy in 1992. But some things, the cross-train, I guess is the best word to say, that would help each other. Both police and corrections are professional. Now there's some agencies, some states, where you have to, like Sheriff's Department, work 2 years in corrections before you can go to the road. So they've learned some of this stuff from the inside, stuff meaning what affects an inmate, a detainee's motivation. How do they live on the inside? How do they live on the outside? Career criminals that are in and out, they definitely have two lifestyles. It's not necessarily Jekyll and Hyde, but it's two definite styles of life. So if you have an understanding of both, it would help you whether you're police or correction in dealing with folks. So I'm going to talk first about, police officers and what in dealing with a person that's been in prison, their behavior is going to be different. And it's going to affect, I'm going to point out a few things here, keep this short, but why they tend to resist, to not listen, to disrespect, disregard, disagree with police officers so quick. Somebody that's done a couple years, done time, hard time, whether it's a year, whether it's 10, 20 years, I use the word institutionalized. Their lifestyle has become a program, an itinerary. When they're on the inside, they're woken by the officers at a certain time, prepare for chow for breakfast. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner is at the same time. On the weekends, if there's 2 meals served, breakfast and dinner, it's on the same time. Their body's on a clock. And they'll always tell you, I don't need an alarm clock. I'll wake you up at a certain time. Anybody that's been incarcerated has a built-in alarm clock. Sleep, eating, the rec, going down the yard. Their body knows if their dorm A is supposed to go on Monday and Thursday, they know what day it is because of that activity and what they're used to. On the inside, there's a code. When you go in, are you affiliated? Are you a gang member? So they have to do that. They have to prove themselves, a high percentage of the time. I don't want to say a number. I guess about 90% of the time they're going to be challenged and have to prove if you're incarcerated. Another thing that happens on the inside, there's usually a shortage of investigators and detectives. There's an overwhelming number of inmates, obviously, and crime. Crime continues on the inside like on the outside. So if you've got 2 investigators, they're not going to keep up with 1,000 inmates stabbing, stealing, robbing from each other to go make criminal charges on the outside. They're going to be handled on the inside. They're going to be behavior, disciplinary reports. They might lose their store goods, get put in isolation. And here's some serious examples when I worked at Hays State Prison in Georgia. We had inmates frequently extorting other inmates, gang members extorting them. And they unlawful restraint or kidnap would be a charge, but take an inmate, put them underneath the bed, tie them up, tie them down, beat them, have a cell phone, videotape it, send it to their family. You put money, you give him money, or we'll kill him. And you tie an inmate up and beat him and extort their family like that, that's a lot of charges. But when the inmates on the inside are already doing life without parole, how can you add to that? You want to spend a lot of time and dollars and money into doing that? So police, think about this. They may be used to this. Inmates in the prison at Hays, they're bumping officers, pushing them, cussing them out. What do they get? Oh, maybe a day or 2 in isolation and come back. There's not a consequence. It's not set up where for every action there's a punishment, a disciplinary. It doesn't work that way. This isn't a factory. There's no quality control that follows a strict guideline. So when an officer pulls somebody over in a traffic stop and they're refusing things, that no, this and that, I don't care who you are, and they disrespect the police officer, they're used to doing that. That's their way of life. So, I know in Kentucky State Police, Class 100, again, congratulations on your graduation there, January 22nd, 2021. I got a lot of friends on Facebook now from that class, a lot of guys that are very early 20s. And you're going to run across this. You're going to see this attitude. You're going to see this. They're used to being like this. They're used to being hungry. When you've done 5 and 10 years in prison, you are hungry, physically hungry. The food is not good. So you've got to consider this lifestyle. This is how they live day and night to survive, to get through that prison sentence and get out. When they get out, you've heard of programs. They've talked about these programs. You can't take the hunger away from somebody. You can't take the fight out of somebody. They can rehabilitate to a point, but it's not a pass or a fail. I would say rehabilitation of criminals to not commit the same crimes or other crimes. You need to put that in a percentage, not yes or no or pass or fail. You may take most of that away from them, but their instincts have changed. What's inside their heart and mind have changed. It's hardened. They're less affected by things. They also, spend time not living with their wife, husband, family, kids, stuff like that. They have a cellmate, a cellie. And that can change 2 or 3 times a week. They can get in a situation, a dorm where it doesn't change for several months. And things are, in that aspect of life, are good for maybe 5, 6 months, a year. And then all of a sudden something changed and then they're back to 3 or 4. And they have to worry every night. Are they going to get killed? Are they going to get raped? Are they going to get their food stolen? Are they going to be stabbed, beat up? Is it a different person? They got friends going to come over and beat them up, take all the stuff they just got, their tennis shoes, the socks, t-shirts, underwear that their family has spent money for them to get, and next day they're robbed and it's taken. They're used to this looking over their shoulder and this worrying about what you're going to do. So they're hesitant. They're going to react a little bit differently when you go as a police officer, not putting hands on them, but when you go to search them, your hands are path searching. I've got a hoodie, I got this on, it's cold. They're going to be dressed like this in layers. You start to go and check their hood, you're checking, they've got multiple coat pockets, these zip up and down, nine pockets, I think, in this jacket. You start doing that, they're going to have some PTSD, they're going to have some stressors coming from prison. And it's not just, I know you're taught 1% of the people, FBI statistic, up until 2020, want to actively assault or hurt police. It's not just that, it's their way of life. We specifically had an inmate down in Tier 2 at Hayes, tall, thin guy, always had a problem, and it was going to be a fight. And I, as a sergeant, I would try and talk to him. If we go to pat him down or put him on strip cell or need to search him, he just had this phobia in his head. And I would try and talk and de-escalate. You can't do it alone because your policy says 2 men in this unit. You try and be as nice as you can, he's going to end up freaking out. Whether he's handcuffed or not, he's going to freak out if you try and pat search him and do whatever. He's had some bad experiences in life. He was bullied and picked on in prison. Yes, he talked to me about this when we were sitting down face to face and I wasn't going to do anything but talk. He told me, he admitted to me what happened in his life, what happened in his over 15 years in prison. He's that traumatized. Now he comes out onto the street. Say he gets out and he's working and he's driving home from work. He's excited. He's got a job as a felon. And you pull him over for speeding. Being around crowds and stuff, it's going to cause him anxiety. He's new to driving. 15 years of not driving, he's going to have anxiety. So here's a young police officer, maybe a young trooper, come pull him over for speeding, ask him for his license, registration, insurance, very politely. He's going to start freaking out, having anxiety. Has nothing to do with the officer. It's his life experience. So I kind of pointed out a few things. I'm just reiterating this a little bit. Police officers, please be understanding. You're professionals. You know why you stopped them. You know why your encounter is coming. Man, standing on the corner, we're not going to talk about all that Terry stop and everything. As you approach somebody that's not in uniform, you need to think and consider what are they doing? What experiences they may have had. Recognize this. Maybe they've been incarcerated and that's what makes them happen. Here's a couple more reasons why, and I'm going to wrap this up. You know, the thing that happened in Georgia, in Atlanta, the tasing and of that man ended up shooting. He said, tomorrow's my daughter's birthday party. Possible. But think about this. Maybe you haven't got their license yet to look at it, but the driver's license won't show an anniversary. I just had my 26th anniversary. Yay for me and my wife. We're best friends. But maybe you stop somebody on the way home from work and they're on their way. It's a big anniversary for them. They've got big plans, dinner, everything, you know, with their spouse. And here you're stopping them. Their mind is, hey, it's my anniversary. I need to make sure I've done everything right and perfect. Plan a perfect night. You've interrupted that. However, you have a legal right to interrupt that because they're speeding. They ran that red light stop sign, what they're doing. Just keep in mind, please, that people sometimes have overwhelming life situations. Maybe something's happened with their child, their family. There's COVID going around. Maybe somebody very close to them tested positive. People's minds are not going to be 100% on driving and driving awareness. Police drive around looking to see what's going on. The citizens drive around because they've got to go from point A to point B for a reason. So keep all that stuff in mind. Maybe where they came from, maybe where they're going, maybe they've been in, got 2 strikes. If they get caught, it's a 3rd strike, and maybe they're doing life at this point. So you young police officers, older police officers, never forget, you may be the one that's stopping and caught them committing their crime that's going to get their 3rd strike and get put away, and that motivates them. I had a DUI stop, and it ended up the guy, he was very drunk. He took the test, did a breathalyzer. He blew like a 0.2. It was really high, no question about it. Went through everything, had the video camera on, body camera, take him to jail. We do the breathalyzer, he blows. After he blows, he's still in handcuff. You know what he does? When an officer comes in the back door, there at the police station, you know, and it's not locked, it's not like prison. When he comes through the back door with an inmate, he saw and you know, somebody he just arrested, mine, sees that door, turns and bolts for the door, bolts out, runs. And he's in handcuff and he's trying to escape. We catch him, obviously. Why did you run? He said, this is my 3rd DUI. My wife is going to divorce me. Sure enough, when she found out, and he had to do a mandatory 30 days, when he found out, tried to bond out the next morning, all his clothes and property was scattered in the front yard and a note. By the time he got to court, he told me, he said, yep, she threw all my stuff in the yard. She's done with me. It's over. That was a reason for him to do that. It wasn't because he didn't like me. It wasn't because he got arrested. It was his 3rd DUI, and that was it. And she told him, one more and you're gone, divorced. I take the kids, I take everything. These are reasons that make people do what they do. Police officers, when you're encountering them and you need to make that arrest. There's an occasion, maybe it's something that, hey, you can tell somebody, you do this, you know, I can give you a citation, give you some time to get stuff figured out. There's options. So be safe, always be safe. Keep in mind why they're doing this. You know, it's kind of like, why do people murder? Why are people serial killers? Why are they serial rapists? Why are they mass murderers? Why do people resist and act the way they do? There's many reasons. Just be open-minded, officers. Hit the like, share. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's keep this going. Thanks for watching.